Well, we are reading the Mandukya Upanishad, and this is our online class number 11 on chapter number 1, the first chapter of the Mandukya Upanishad. In our last meeting on 11th August, we discussed these points. 3 theories about whether the universe existed in the cause or God before its creation. And then we were answering 2 questions. How is the universe created? And what is the nature of or material for the creation? Thereafter, we were discussing various views. We came to the 7th view or 7th point of view. And that is like this. That is almost the last group. I just call it the last group because the revered Gaudapada considers this group as the last. At the end, he considers this group. Then he proceeds further. The adherents to this group say that it is the nature of God. It has become, or it is the very nature of God. The non-dual Vedanta or Advaita Vedanta agrees with this opinion. This is called Swabhava. Swabhava means nature. Swabhava means what can never be separated from the person whose nature it is. If we ask why is this creation? The answer is it is the very nature of the Creator. If you ask why is the sun hot? The answer is because it is the sun. It is sun's very nature. Why is the ice cold? Because it is the very nature of ice. Creation is an inseparable part of God. If He is God, then He is the Creator. God and God's power of creation cannot be separated. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. That is why He is called Creator, because He has the power of creation. That is His Swabhava. Then the sage Gaudapada refutes all other opinions by one sentence. That is, in Sanskrit is a wonderful sentence. Apta kamasya ka spriha. What desire or will can be there for the God who is ever fulfilled? Therefore, the idea and process of creation is a regular thing. No why question is logical. It is not God's play. It is not for God's enjoyment. It is not His will, etc. So many points we have already discussed. But it is an inseparable part or aspect of God. It is of the nature of a dream or a relative existence called Maya. The topic of creation or Srishti is concluded here. Gaudapada will give big elaboration of this concept in the 3rd chapter of this Upanishad. So we will not go much deeper into this now. In the commentary verses, those which are called the Karikas, number 6 to 9, Gaudapada explains the 6th mantra. Ishvara is the source or cause of this creation. The word is yonihi. Yonihi means creation. Incidentally, he dwelt on the idea of the creation coming out of its own cause. The word own is special here. The creation is coming out of its own cause. It is like the mango tree coming out of its own cause, the mango seed, not from the apple seed. This is called Satkaryavada in Sanskrit. That is, the world was already existent in its cause. And that is what is called Ishvara or God. That means, as we have already said, in creation a brand new effect or thing is not produced. Only the unmanifest cause has been manifested. Creation means a transition from the unmanifest to the manifest. Dissolution is just the opposite. The manifested effect goes back to the unmanifest form. Thereafter, Gaudapada has said that the creation is a relative creation. It is not ultimately real. The nature of the creation is unreal, means relatively real. At the same time, it is settled that we cannot ask about the purpose of the creation. Others may try to find a purpose, but Vedanta says that we cannot question the purpose behind this creation. It is the very nature of Ishvara or God, the Creator. It is an inseparable part of the Creator. Creation is an inseparable part of the Creator. Human qualities are inseparable part of humans. It is exactly like that. The moves between manifested and unmanifested form, that happens naturally. So we cannot ask any question. If there is a beginning, then you could have asked a question. This idea is supportive of a multiverse theory. Many universes existing at the same time. There would be no time when the creation would not be there. That is the idea here. There could be many universes at the same time, and that is what is called creation. The Hindu thought says that by one glance of the Shakti or the female creative power of Ishvara, millions of universes roll forth. So that is a multiverse theory. Many of the astrophysicists nowadays, they are promoting these ideas. This position gives rise to a question which needs to be answered. The question is, if the creation is an integral part of God, then we have to accept that the duality of God and universe will be permanent truth. There will be infinite God, there will be infinite universe. Then you accept a duality in contradiction to your own position of infinite reality. You create two infinities. That is illogical. The answer is, thank you for your question. That is what they say. That would be the position if we accept the creation to be real and permanently there. Then there is no doubt that there will be an acceptance of permanent duality. Then there will be the awful possibility of accepting many infinities. But we are actually talking about a temporary and therefore a relative or unreal creation. This relative creation cannot cause duality even if it is always there in God. The same idea of unreality continues in all the three states of creation: in creation, in preservation, and in dissolution. Srishti Sthiti Laya. Let us analyze the point based on which Gaudapada accepted that last opinion, that it is the nature of God. From that standpoint, we have learned that creation is the nature or Swabhava of Ishvara. This Swabhava or nature is called Maya. Maya is the nature of God. Now we have to clarify one very important point here. There are two words in Sanskrit which seem to be synonymous from their literal meanings: Swabhava and Swarupa. Swabhava means the nature and Swarupa means the real nature. What is the difference? Maya is the Swabhava of God, whereas existence, knowledge and bliss, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, are the Swarupam of Ishvara. There is a real difference here. Swarupam, or the real nature of God, is Satyam, or truth, or real, whereas Swabhava is just opposite, that is unreal. Similarly, the real nature of God is Jnanam, knowledge, whereas Maya is Ajnanam, or ignorance. If Maya is the real nature of God, Swarupam, then Brahman will be Asat, non-existent or relative. What is the meaning of this Swabhava? If someone, suppose, tells lies for a reason, and you have detected it for the first time, then you feel sad. If the same person lies, even if there is no reason, then and also he does it again and again, then you call him a liar. Or going a little further, you may call him a pathological liar. So lying is his Swabhava. That is his habit. Similarly, deception, anger, etc. can be our Swabhava, our habit. But our Swarupa, the real nature, is that we are human beings. We are not lies, we are not anger, we are not deception. We are human beings. A liar can be free from the habit of lying. A habit can be removed. Therefore, we understand that lying is Swabhava in the form of a habit. It is the habit of God to create. But the Swarupa, or real nature of Ishvara, existence, knowledge and bliss, is permanent. You cannot remove that from Ishvara. We can remove the habit of lying or anything, but we cannot remove or we cannot deny that we are human beings. If that is denied, then we are not human beings. Then who will tell lies? So, existence, knowledge and bliss, that is the permanent nature of God, that cannot be removed. So this much about that opinion of Swabhava, or the standpoint. Now we will go to the Upanishad mantra number 7, and this is the most poetic of all the mantras. This is a wonderful mantra, just wonderful. I will read it in Sanskrit first. Nanta prajna na bahi prajna, no bhayata prajna na prajnana ghanam, na prajnam na prajnam, adrishtam avyavaharyam agrajyam, alakshanam, achintyam, avyapadeshyam, ekatma pratyaya saram prapanchopashamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vigneyaha. The running translation will be like this. They consider the fourth chaturtham. That is the meaning. Fourth is the meaning of the word chaturtham. They consider the fourth, and this fourth will be referred to as turiyam later on. So they consider the fourth to be that which is not conscious of the internal world, nor conscious of the external world, nor conscious of both the worlds, nor a mass of consciousness, nor conscious nor unconscious, which is unseen, beyond empirical dealings, beyond the grasp of the organs of action, uninferable, unthinkable, indescribable, whose valid proof consists in the single belief in the self, in which all phenomena cease, and which is unchanging, auspicious, and non-dual. That is the self, and that is to be known. That is to be known. That is to be meditated upon, no, known. That is to be worked with, no. That is to be known. In the previous mantras 3 to 6, the first three padas or indicators of the Atman were revealed. The third mantra spoke about the first pada or indicator. The fourth mantra spoke about the second pada or second indicator. And the fifth and sixth, these two, they spoke about the third pada or indicator, tritiya pada. I am using the word indicator for the translation of the Sanskrit word pada, because it seems to be the most or the closest translation. But still it has got different words which are like synonyms. We will use them. We have seen that the consciousness associated with the waking state is known as Vishwa Virat. As the individual it is called Vishwa, and as the aggregate it is called Virat. Similarly, in the dream state, the individual is called Taijasa and the aggregate is called the Hiranyagarbha. We have studied all these things already. I am just recapitulating to connect them to our present discussion. And in the deep sleep state, it is known as Prajna and the aggregate is known as Ishvara. But as we have already said and seen, Gaudapada connects both these aggregate and individual as one. So in the waking state, this waking world is called Vishwa. So like that it will go. So now in this mantra, the fourth pada, chaturtha pada of the Atman is to be revealed. This is the task before us. Because the first mantra of the Upanishad promised that it will reveal the four padas of Atman. In the first mantra it is said, Soyam Atma Chatushpat. That Atman is having four indicators or four aspects. Now we are going to look into the fourth. Once again, let us remember that the word pada can be translated as quarter, 4 quarters, then it makes a whole. or aspect, 4 aspects. It is in the waking state, deep sleep state, dream state, or 4 features or 4 indicators. In this mantra it is called the 4th. The word, only word 4th, not 4th indicator, 4th nothing. Chaturtham. 4th has different synonyms in Sanskrit. 4th means Chaturtham. This word has got different synonyms. Chaturtham, Chaturiyam, Turiyam, Turiyam, like that. All mean the same, the 4th. There is no mystic significance of the word Turiyam. Please remember this. Many people who love Mandukya Upanishad, they are mystified to talk about this word Turiyam as if it is something mystical. No, Vedanta is very down to the earth and very practical. To indicate a 4th person, suppose, you may use these expressions in Sanskrit. Chaturiya Purusaha means 4th person. Turiya Purusaha, the 4th person. There is nothing mystical about it. So 4th means 4th. Turiyam. Turiyam means 4th. What is this Chaturtha Pada? Now what I will do in today's class is I will try to give almost half of the introduction only to this mantra number 7. To introduce this mantra, we need a really, really big introduction because it is such a wonderful mantra. So I will try to give almost the half of the introduction. This mantra is so precious. It is difficult to be revealed by explanations. The first 3 padas we have experienced. The first pada, the you as the waker, the Vishwa, have been experienced by you. You know what you are when you are in waking state. In that pada, the consciousness was turned outward. You experienced the world outside yourself, including you. The second pada, the dream state, has been experienced by you as Taijasa. You got different name. Instead of dreamer, you are called the Taijasa. There the consciousness was turned inward. You have a dream inside. The third pada, or the sleep state or deep sleep state, has the individual as prajna in it. This is also well known. We know, we have slept well. They are all well known. They are all well known because we all experience them without exception. This is our experience. We are sometimes in the waking state, we are sometimes in the dream state, we are sometimes in the deep sleep state. Who can deny that? Nobody can. Everybody has to accept it. Therefore, really speaking, Vishwa, Taijasa or Prajna, waker, sleeper or dreamer, are not at all new things that is being revealed by the scripture. The scripture does not need to reveal this. I know it. From my own experience, I know it. It is only talking about what is already known by every one of us. The scripture has given them these names which we did not know. That's all. Now we have learned the names. The waker is called Vishwa. Like that. When scriptures talk about things which are already known, then it is called a sentence repeating the known thing. In Sanskrit, it is called Anuvada Vakyam. Means a theoretical expression, a wordy with words, wordy expression after the experience has happened. So Anu, afterwards. or a sentence which is already experienced or known. That is how it is. In such a sentence, we do not learn anything new. Did we learn anything new? Our experiences can be spoken by sentences which do not reveal anything new, but will repeat the experience in words. Since a thing can be or is known by all, that thing can be known by empirical data. The data, the proof that you get, you collect those data from the empirical world. Because it is only the empirical data that are available to all. Which data is available to all? Transcendental? No. Empirical data, worldly data available to all. The empirical experiences are available for scrutiny by empirical data. This we have to understand. Now we will learn a rule before we take up our study further. The rule is that the Upanishad is going to reveal a science. This science is data based. It is not saying something which does not have any proof, any evidence. Like for example, Sanskrit grammar, suppose. Sanskrit language is based on the Sanskrit data or Sanskrit rules that are used by grammar, by Sanskrit grammar. And those data are used by Sanskrit grammar to validate a Sanskrit sentence or its meaning. Like any other language, you do not bring data from the chemistry lab to validate or invalidate Sanskrit language grammar. Clear? Suppose you are doing research to find out whether there is water in the moon. You bring data or samples from the moon. And some scientists study those moon data and announce their conclusion saying that there is no Mars. How ridiculous would be the announcement? You have collected data from the moon. Your announcement should be on or about the moon only. It becomes laughable if you use moon data to deny the existence of Mars. Correct? Similarly, when you are studying the Upanishads to find out what truth they reveal, you cannot bring data from chemistry lab or even from the Bible or any other book for that matter. Or you cannot bring data from any empirical sources. Empirical data is valid for everybody's knowledge. The Upanishad reveals something which is not everybody's knowledge. The Upanishad is revealing a transcendental truth with the help of transcendental data. This is a path of knowledge. The Triputi or the three participants are in this path. The knower called the Pramata, then the thing to be known called Prameya, and the means by which Pramata or the subject interacts with the object is called knowledge, and that is called Pramanam, testimony, reasoning. We are going to know that we are Atman. How will we know it? We are going to know that we are Atman. We are not the body, we are not the mind, we are not the world. We will use the pramanam or means, the proof, called the Upanishads, to know it. In this quest, the data that we get in the Upanishads are the only valid data. No other data can be acceptable, can be used. No other data. Clear? Now we are studying something which is not evident to us. It is not evident. The Upanishad is going to reveal it, therefore, through pramanam reasoning, using the data that are available in the Upanishads or Vedanta. Hence, in course of my discussion, I will always remind you saying that the Upanishad does not say so, or Vedanta does say so. Then you have to understand that since Vedanta or the Upanishads do not say so, therefore, it is not a valid proof. It is unacceptable. If they say so, then only it is acceptable. We have to remember this. No question or doubt can be accepted that are generated in your mind from your knowledge from the chemistry lab. We won't accept that data. Because those are empirical data, they are known to all. We don't need your data. Because your knowledge about other things are not something new, not something that you do not know. Therefore, we won't accept it. Clear? Please remember this before we proceed further in studying this science, the data-based science. When the Upanishad reveals something that you do not know, then the sentences it uses are called testimony or evidence, pramanam. Suppose the Chandogya Upanishad says, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that Brahman or that substratum. Tat, that, Tvam, you, Asi, are. You are that. This is not a known fact to you. Even you do not know this. So this is not known to all. So this is an undeniable, unquestionable evidence because the Upanishad says so. What did I say? When I say the Upanishad says so, it is undeniable and unquestionable evidence. You cannot deny it. Suppose Mr. John suffered from a very stressful and catastrophic misfortune. But you see that he remained unaffected by such a fate. That is something very remarkable, amazing. You become curious and ask him, how do you maintain your mental balance in such catastrophic situation? From your own empirical knowledge, you know that after a furious hurricane, a small wooden house remained intact, you have seen. Then you have learned that that house had a central pillar which was very strong. Now will you expect that John will say that I have used the same pillar to face my misfortune? Same wooden pillar or steel pillar? No. Rather, when John says that he practices meditation and therefore he knows how to keep the mind steady and calm in spite of our stressful challenges. Then what do? You accept it as a proof, a testimony for his calmness, for his fortitude. It is an unquestionable proof, and it is not known to all. So you have to accept it. Such sentences are called the Pramana Vakyam, or a sentence that cannot be verified by any other data than the data that are available in the Upanishads. It is like saying the correctness of Sanskrit sentences cannot be verified by any other proof than by Sanskrit grammar. You have to use Sanskrit grammar. Is it clear? Mantra number 3 reveals the first pada of Atman. And that first pada is called Vishwa. It is in the waking state, when the consciousness is turned outward, as it were. We experience this world in the waking state. What is the name? What is this name, Vishwa? Now let me tell you that you, my dear listener, you have this new name, Vishwa. We don't need to see who you are, what your age is, etc. You are called Vishwa, right? Please remember it. It is a Sanskrit name for you. Please remember that when you are listening to this Mandukya Upanishad class, your Sanskrit name is Vishwa. For this short time at least, please forget your passport name. You are Vishwa. If you are not dreaming while listening to this class, then you are Vishwa. You are in the waking state. If you are not in deep sleep, sound sleep now, I hope you are not, then you are Vishwa. You may be a man, you may be a woman, or anybody. Whoever is listening to Mandukya Upanishad now, you are Vishwa. Do not ask who is Vishwa anymore. Okay? You have got a new name. Wonderful Sanskrit name. And Mandukya Upanishadic name. Not a simple and not an easy name. Now the Upanishad is saying something about which you do not know, which we do not know. The 7th mantra is really revealing something fresh and new to you, my dear Vishwa. So it is a valid proof. Upanishad is saying that. This mantra reveals the central theme of the Mandukya Upanishad. All other mantras are only meant for preparing you for this main or central theme. How is the Upanishad going to reveal the Chaturtha Pada, the 4th? In the other 3 cases of yours, my dear Vishwa, what did the Upanishad say? It revealed that in case of the first indicator, you are Vishwa. That means the consciousness turned outward and it is associated with the waking state. You are Vishwa because you are awake, you are listening to the class. Then it revealed that in case of the second indicator, you are Taijasa, the dreamer. That means the consciousness turned inward and it is associated with the dream state. Then it revealed that in case of the third indicator, you are Prajna. That means the consciousness is associated with the deep sleep state. Now the Upanishad is going to reveal Turiyam. So how will you define it? You have exhausted all the three states: waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Now what will you say? Normally you will say, now the Upanishad revealed that in case of the fourth state, fourth pada, you are Turiyam. That means the consciousness associated with the state. What state? We don't know. The Upanishad does not say that. Then some people say it is Turiya state. Some people really say that. Upanishad will refute this. Here you have made the most harmful error if you have said so, that it is a Turiya state. This is a common error. Even many lovers of Mandukya Upanishad will make such errors. Why? Because they do not know what fatal mistake they will make in their search for their own real identity. What fatal mistake you will make if you say it is a Turiya state? What fatal mistake are you talking about? You will drown the ship just when you were about to reach the parking jetty. Just a little bit remained and you drowned the ship. The labor of so much practice or so much research or search will be brought to zero result. Many people think that Turiya or the fourth is a fourth state. Some others will say this Turiya state is a Samadhi state. That is called the fourth state. The consciousness associated with the fourth state or Samadhi is the Chaturtha or the fourth. If there is a Turiya state or Turiya Avastha or Samadhi state, how should the Upanishad define that Turiya state? Do you have experience of it as another state in your own daily life? Do you have an experience of Turiya state in your daily life? You have experience of three states. You have experience of only three states. So the Upanishad called those states as waking state, dream state, and so on. Those are known facts. They are known to everyone. But about the fourth, the Turiya, the Upanishad does not say that it is a Turiya state. The Upanishad does not say that. Sounds familiar? I advised you to keep it in mind that when I say the Upanishad does not say this or that, then it means that it is not acceptable as a proof. So Turiya state is not a state, right? Because the Upanishad does not say so. Chaturtham only, not Chaturtha Avastha. Now we will go slowly. I don't know how far I can go with this step-by-step logic. If there had been a Samadhi state or a Turiya state, suppose, the Upanishad would have said Samadhi Sthanam or Turiya Sthanam. So it is clear that the fourth pada is, or Turiya pada, is not the consciousness associated with any particular state. This is the first and most important point to remember. Please follow this process of argument that will finally lead to your knowing your own self. You have to follow it steadily. The Vishwa will know who you really are. This is the first point, and that is what the Upanishad wants to reveal to you. Then, if you don't remember this, that Turiya is not a state, what will remain? What will happen? Otherwise, Otherwise means if we accept that there is a state called Turiya state, we have to go to a different state for realizing Turiyam. Turiya and Turiyam, they are all the same. Then we will do meditation to reach that state. That means we have to realize Turiyam not now but then. Non-dual Vedanta does not say that your realization of yourself will have to wait for some other time. If you have to go to a different state, then it is not realized now, but it will be realized then. It will not be realized here, but you will be traveling to some place to realize it there. Then we will end up in what sleep state. We will sleep, fall asleep. Therefore, we should not think that Turiyam is associated with any particular state. This is another point. Now the third point I will make. Not only that, if you say that Turiyam is a particular state, then Turiyam will also become temporary, like any of the other three states. Why? Because any state is temporary. State means temporary. A state is fluctuating. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep, these three states fluctuates. Sometime one is there and the next moment it is no more there. Another state has come. If Turiya is associated with the fluctuating or temporary state, it will also be temporary. It won't be permanent. The Upanishad says that Turiyam, consciousness, it is permanent. Why did I say so? The Upanishad says that. This is therefore indisputable. There are more of such strong arguments. We will see them as the occasions arise. With these three arguments, we conclude that Upanishad says that Turiyam is not associated with any particular state. Therefore, we should not use the word or phrase Turiya state or Turiya avastha. The Upanishad also does not use the word state or avastha. Now we go to another argument. Then what is Turiya? You say it is not associated with any particular state. Suppose I associate it, connect it with the waking state. Then what mistake do I do? If you connect it with waking state, then it is called Vishwa, you. Vishwa is the first pada, the first state. But the Upanishad says that Turiya is the fourth. Upanishad does not say that it is the first. So how do you connect it with the first? You cannot, because Upanishad says it is fourth. It cannot become the first. So you cannot do that. See, the logic is so deep and so threadbare. It is splitting the small thin thread. You cannot do that because the Upanishad does not say so. The Upanishad does not say so, that's all. Then what is Turiyam? Then the question comes. Is it identical with Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna, or different from there? Oh dear. Why do you ask such a question? Now the Upanishad has real difficulty in dealing with your question. Do you remember our earlier example? The child is arguing with the mother. Mom, why don't you accept that I am sleeping? See the fallacy? He is arguing and he is saying, I am sleeping. Why don't you accept that I am sleeping? Let us remember that you, the Vishwa, who is in the waking state and hopefully listening to this talk, are called Taijasa, or the dreamer in your dream state, and the same you are called Prajna, or the sleeper in the deep sleep state. No, it is true that the Upanishad has difficulty. But the Upanishad is ready to take up the struggle to answer your question to your satisfaction. If the Upanishad says that it is identical with the Vishwa or Taijasa or Prajna, then why do you call it the fourth? And if you say it is different from then it must be associated with some other state. This is a big difficulty for the Upanishad. And you have put a very, very difficult question. Very intricate and tricky question. So the Upanishad says, well, my dear Vishwa, we can neither say that Turiya is different from you, nor can we say that it is identical with you, with Vishwa. We are going to give you an answer which is, we are going to say it is both. It is identical with you and at the same time it is different from you. Now we will use the most common example to make this idea clear. Suppose a person has a bangle or bracelet, a chain or a ring, all of which are made of gold. They are three because they have three different names, three different forms and three different use. The bangle will be used on your wrist, the ring on your finger or on your ear, and the chain on around your neck. Now suppose I put these three ornaments in front of you on the table and say that I am going to talk about gold or give a short lecture on gold. You may think that I am going to talk about a new thing, a fourth thing called gold. Is gold a fourth thing different from the ornaments? Suppose I say that no, gold is not different but identical with any one of these ornaments. Then I could have said that I am going to talk about the bangle or about the chain, anyone. Why did I say I am going to talk about gold? Why did I say that? When I am saying that gold is not identical with bangle or chain or ring, then I may mean that gold is different from them. But you can see that gold is not also different from these ornaments. Because you cannot have the ornaments without the gold. Similarly, and this is the crux of the problem, gold can remain without the chain, without the bangle, and without the ring. Gold can remain, but the names, forms cannot remain. Where does this argument lead us to? The gold is there in all of the forms, in all of them. We can now say the bangle is temporary, but gold is permanent. The chain is temporary, but gold is permanent. The ring is temporary and the gold is permanent. Gold is the Turiyam, the underlying consciousness. Suppose we compare the example like this, that the bangle is the first pada or indicator called Vishwa. The chain is the second indicator called Taijasa. The ring is the third indicator called prajna. Gold is different as the permanent reality which is responsible for the existence of these three. It is not different or away in time and space from these temporary things. It is in them as the permanent gold. It is permanent because the chain, the bangle, the ring may disappear. They are impermanent. Do you remember in one of our earlier classes we said that you have to count gold as the fourth. But now I have said that you should not count it as the fourth. A big contradiction. No. Because the Upanishad has said it. The Upanishad has said that it is the fourth. This data is indisputable. But why did Upanishad say it as the fourth? That will be explained and examined in our next class. I cannot go further with this because it has lot more arguments. And the Upanishad will not stop until you know, as Swami Vivekananda has said, until you know that you are God, until you know that you are this Turiam, that consciousness. Thank you very much. I stop here. Our time is over.